Okay, so our next competitor is Sam Schultz with honeyfi. Thanks, Sam.
Hey, actually, I'm Rami, but Sam signed us up. Um, we're honeyfi, so just let's get into it quick. Everyone can raise their hands, and keep your hands up, 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 up. How many of you are in a relationship? Okay. Keep your hands up if you've ever thought about money in that relationship. Wow, okay. Keep your hands up if you've ever thought about money and ended up on the couch for 2 nights. Crap. All right. So it's actually a situation I found myself in with my wife. We were living in New York at the time. We had 2 kids, found out we were having a third on the way. And it was one of those moments where like, okay, now what are we gonna do? We started having a conversation about, can we afford to stay in the city? Do we move out to the suburbs or just move somewhere completely different? And as we were having that conversation, we realized we were wholly unprepared for our financial future. Woke up off the couch a couple nights, said, you know what, there's gotta be a better way. Talked to some of our friends, they'd had similar challenges, right? Maybe not the couch, but similar challenges. And we started doing some research and found that 58% of millennial couples fight about money on a weekly or monthly basis. So you think about it, there are about 30 million couples, millennial couples, 58% fight about money on a weekly or monthly basis. Got together with my 2 co-founders, Sam and Joe, back there and said, you know what? There's gotta be something we can do about this. And so we founded honeyfi. honeyfi is an app to help couples manage their finances together. So we're really trying to take the stress out of managing money with a partner. Put a little video together to show you guys a bit about the app and how my wife and I use it.
Sign up was easy. After my wife Carolyn and I linked our bank accounts, we chose which accounts to share with one another. We have joint and individual accounts, so we shared some and marked others as private. honeyfi then categorized our transactions and suggested a monthly budget based on our spending history. Given we knew our childcare costs were about to rise, we decided to increase the childcare budget. From there, staying in sync is easy. Carolyn and I can see how our spending impacts our budget in real time, and it's easy to quickly drill into the data to find where the spending hotspots are. honeyfi also automatically identifies our monthly bills and sends us reminder notifications. Carolyn and I also get notifications in real time as we spend, and we can see both of our transactions neatly organized in one place. Carolyn loves being able to react to specific transactions, and one of her favorite features is the ability to leave words of encouragement in the comments. It's easy for me to quickly respond.
Tell you what, we'll stop it there. So, but hopefully you guys saw a couple things there. One, we try to make it as simple as possible to understand what's going on. No complex charts or graphs or anything like that. And the second thing is we built lots of ways for the couple to communicate with each other. So often it's positive, sometimes it's not, but that's really one of the things that differentiates us. We were built from the ground up for couples to work together with each other. Going forward, we're going to be helping couples manage through the various life stages that they go through. So think having a kid, buying a home, and understanding the financial challenges that come with that. We make money by bringing in partners to help meet those needs. We actually met one of them last year at FinCon, Haven Life. So I don't know if anyone from Haven is here, but our promise to our customers, though, is that we would have vetted those partners and made sure that they're a good fit for them in their particular situation. We launched the app live in both Android and iOS at the end of August, and traction and feedback has been really good. We've been quite pleased with the feedback. And I'll leave you with one little story here. We do customer feedback sessions every week. We talked to a couple that had been in marriage counseling for a couple months. Their counselor advised them that finances were a source of stress for them and said you should write everything down and talk to each other about it. And they were like, Dad, that's not gonna happen. So they found our app. They've been using us for 2 months, and she said verbatim, honeyfi helped save our marriage, which was awesome, right? So we're always looking for partners who wanna help save marriages and keep schlubs like me off the couch. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So questions?
That's cool, man. I don't know many apps that are for couples. Are there other ones out there? Or is it just you right now? Like, this seems to be a really good market that no one's tapped into that much, which is crazy.
Yeah. There have been a couple, but they've been more focused on bill splitting. So you pay this bill, I pay this bill. At the end of the month, you owe me $20 or whatever.
Okay.
But we're very much more focused on planning for the future and as a unit working together.
And what happens if you or your wife changes something in there? Does it on your side show that something's changed? Like, how does that work? Who's working on which parts?
Absolutely. So if you've signed up for the alerts, we give you the choice. It'll ping you to say, Carolyn, my wife changed this category. And then you can also see an activity feed. So if you just want to kind of scroll through and see what's been happening, you can click on each one and see.
And then for the categories, does everything just roll over to the next month? Does it just like go down to zero, or do you have to keep entering manually different budgets? How does the budgeting part?
Yeah, so very much like the two first presenters, we pull in your transactions automatically. And so once we'll actually set up the budget for you automatically, and then you can change it if you'd like, but otherwise it'll roll over to the next month.
Cool, that's a cool product, man.
Thanks.
So I have several questions, so I'll try to be quick.
Sure.
First of all, I love that it sets up the budget automatically. My husband and I do not budget, and we should, but we just try not to overspend and we save first.
Very sexy.
I know you hate that. Yeah, budgets are sexy. So I have a question for you, I guess. First of all, great presentation.
Thank
Did
you.
you guys go through Y Combinator or any kind of accelerator program?
No,
That's a tight presentation. Well done.
thank you.
Second of all, I guess I would say that have you considered, I love the way that you have the ability to see the amount but then be transparent or not transparent as you choose. Have you considered making this something that multi-generations of families can use? For example, people who are in their 40s who are caring for aging parents or who want to have a view into their parents' finances but not the detail, and without loss of autonomy of those aging family members. Have you considered a multi-generational facet of this?
No, absolutely. It's a great opportunity for us. Our first focus is on couples, but we see it as a natural extension as any of the relationships where you manage money in a group. So going up to your parents is one, but actually down to your children is also another. So if you have college-age kids, you can start to teach them some of those financial lessons, and not necessarily see all the bar trips, but see how much they're spending. But absolutely,
Yeah.
it's a
I mean,
place we're
I think
looking.
there's an interesting and large growing opportunity there for multi-generational families that have multiple income streams that are different, and then some that are unique in terms of spending.
Absolutely.
And the social aspect is great too. So well done. How are you going to make money?
So it's through referrals.
Okay.
And then we will be adding some other subscription opportunities from there.
All right, so questions from the audience? All right. I'll go right down here.
Yeah, I love the concept of it. Just a question about the accounts that aren't linked. Does it just assume that that money's spent?
The accounts that aren't?
Yeah, like you said, you don't have to, like, say I had an account and I didn't want to, like, my partner to see it or vice versa.
Uh-huh.
You said you couldn't turn it on. Does it just assume that any money goes to that is spent?
So you can actually see those in your individual view, and then there's a household view.
Okay.
So it's not like it disappears unless you want it to, but you have two views.
And so with the household view, if I had income going to that account, it would just assume that it's spent.
It would assume that it goes to the household income, and
Okay.
then based on whatever expenses are labeled as household, then it would subtract those from the income that came in at the household.
Okay. And my other question is about how the couples communicate. Is it just you could put a comment on a transaction or something? How does it actually work?
So we have comments in the transactions. We also have reactions. So like Facebook, you can do thumbs up, that kind of stuff. We actually have a full chat within the app where you can share some of the charts and graphs. So what we've found is within a relationship, there's what we call a house CFO. Person who's much more on top of the finances, much more in tune to what's happening, and they're engaging and pulling in their partner to say, this is how we're doing this month, and they send them a message with that chart, for example. So there are lots of different ways that we encourage that communication.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, great app. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Within the budgeting side, is there anything to, I guess, there's sort of two parts to the question. Is there anything to suggest, okay, I'm having a child, how much is that likely to add to my budget? And then kind of part two is there any way to compare to, say, peers based on your demographics of how much you're spending?
So to answer the first one, that's where we're going. It's kind of a fill out the life stage or the next challenge for you. And then that is the plan, right? This is how much extra you should build into your budget for baby expenses. What's a 529? Do you have life insurance? All the things you don't think about when you don't have kids. And the second piece is also something, once we have scale, then yes, we can start to do peer comparisons. The challenge is knowing who exactly is your peer. That's always the hardest part.
You mentioned kind of next upcoming, like the child, but do you have the sense of goals? So often as a couple, we'll talk about what we're saving, trips or something like that
Sure.
that we're trying to save for.
That's one of the next milestones as well. So,
All right. Thank you very much.
thanks.
Thank you, Remy, and sorry for the incorrectly introducing you earlier.